Hello everyone and welcome to another Starcraft 2 replay. This one's going to take place on Daybreak on the Red Terran Ketroc spawning in the top right hand position, and the bottom left we have Stomach Fat, the blue Zerg. Yeah, it's going to be somewhat typical TvZ, except we're going to see something that's probably going to become typical, I would say. Because here's the thing, queens have extended range now, and where a lot of people were saying like big whoop before the expansion came out, or before the patch came out, people are starting to realize how big it actually is. So I guess to start talking about, we have to talk about what a typical Terran opener is. It's usually Hellions, some sort of Hellion expand, where you get the Hellions to kind of deny the creep spread, and then you follow up with a Banshee or two. And that makes you super safe in that the only aggression that Zerg can throw at your early game is Lings and Roaches. And if it comes out with you with Roaches, they have like a timer on them before they die because you have Banshees out in the field. And then the Lings just get mopped up with Hellions, because Hellions just incinerate those guys. And where Balings, you know, Balings are somewhere in the middle, where Hellions are okay versus them, and Banshees are okay versus them. So given that that's the opener, Queens now can no longer be kited by Hellions. So Queens can actually get out there and defend quite well versus Hellions early, and kind of get the creep spread going. Looks like my opponent here is actually pulling a lot of drones. Whoop. Yep, that's a lot of drones. Yeah, he's going to be able to take this expansion, but he's also got 6 workers off the line very early in the game, which I don't recommend. That can't be the best response. So I'm going for my typical build, 16 command center, although I'm going to have to cancel this a lot earlier than I normally do, but I think it's worth it. So there's a command center, there's a cancel. I should be able to double gas right now. Did cancel, right? I think so. So yeah, you get like, say 4 queens really fast, maybe even 5 or 6 queens really fast, and you can hold, and then you can expand the creep very early, and then you're like automatically set up to for Banshee defense as well. Because when you have that many queens, you're not going to get harassed by Banshees effectively. So where you still can't push out with these queens, because you know the same problem exists with the Hellion Banshee being like a pinning maneuver. It does allow you to defend yourself quite easily. And then if you saw the most recent Day 9, the way Spinichiwa worked mass queens into his final build order, into his death ball, we'll say, is pretty amazing. You get that early creep spread, so you get the creep spread quite far, so the queens can actually get involved in battles. And then transfuse is just insane when you have like, just take like a typical death ball, like say Broodlord, Infestor, Corruptor. Add in queens, and then those Broodlords just never die. Broodlords do all the damage, Infestors and Corruptors are meant to keep them alive, but queens do it so much better on top of that. They would probably work exactly the same for Ultras as well. Ultras with queen repair is pretty good. So when back in the day, people used to say like, well, like Zerg doesn't have a death ball, they just have to make a 300 supply army, where you get 200 supply, save up a bunch of larvae, and then throw away your army, rebuild all your larvae, and then that's kind of how you get the 300 supply army. But now Zerg actually has the most expensive death ball, and in turn, like probably the most powerful death ball, I would suspect. And there's queens involved. So I know why I went on that rant. Oh, I know why I went on that rant, because we're actually going to see some mass queen action going on late game. Not to the mass degree, but kind of to the degree that it will give an example of how the Zerg is using it. These little squares here, these are basically Overlord sit here squares. So you can see that he takes advantage of it. This is his normal high ground. Oh, he's heading for that square. And there's other ones around here. Here's one here. And one over here somewhere. Yep, that's the one. So when you're going with your scout Viking, you might actually want to beeline straight to those squares, just to take out some overlords. Looks like I forgot to populate this gas. I'm doing my feint push right now. Factory down, supply depot down. Take this gas, man. So my feint push is not really working because he has no lings out on the field. If I bring up the units tab here, he actually has 0 lings, just relying on the 4 queens for defense. He's got 2 blocking the ramp. Looks like I actually suicide 2 SCVs to kill a creep tumor. That's totally not worth it, but did it induce and produce something? No. Well, 2 more spines, but yeah. This larva does not have to be spent on lings at all. So this like high queen defense is probably going to be something you see more often. Looks like he's now throwing up a Baling's Nest and Evo Chamber. Kind of making like a wall off. That's not solid. Even Hellions can get through that, so that's kind of dumb. It's alright, we'll give Zergs a break. They're not used to walling off, but they'll probably be doing it more in the future. Especially if they're relying on queens. I mean, queens are nice and all, but if you just come at them with enough Hellions, you can either blow right by them or blow right through them. So at this point, we're just putting up the missile turrets. Getting that ring going. Ring. Need a couple more. 1, 2. And after that, we'll be throwing down the mass starports. Ah, that's better. My throat was getting a little dry there. So it looks like Zerg is taking his third, spraying the creep out that direction. You can actually take an early third with this build. I really like the way Spinishua did it, where he, since he was building a 3rd and 4th queen and early 3rd, he didn't need an early creep inject. So with his first 2 queens, did 2 creep tumors and got the creep going so fast. I have to say for favorite players, Spinishua and Kiwi Kaki, even though neither of them are Terran, got me my 2 favorite, because they're players I look at and I can see that they actually think about the game. They're not going to Team Liquid and researching and like looking up, okay, what's the standard build of the day? What's the metagame at today? What's the perfect timings? They're actually figuring out stuff on their own, and they do it in a pretty smart manner. Spinishua's stream, I've only seen it a couple times, but both times he was like doing stuff that you never see on someone's stream. One, because it's kind of boring what he was doing, but just like looking at replays of say like Stefano or something, and just analyzing, just looking at like checking the timings, checking the builds, like getting exactly the idea what he's doing, or just practicing something over and over and over again. It's like, let me see how to drone split at the beginning. What's the best way? Okay, this is the best way. Then we practice it 100 times. So it's something that won't see on any other stream. May not be that entertaining though. So Viking is going to be up to 3 kills now. That's pretty sweet. Oops, I showed him that missile turret. Didn't have to do that. Now he has a little more information than he normally wouldn't. Couple Balings here. Setting up for a Baling Bomb. Like that. Oh, this is a nice little trick. This is a cool trick. What you do is you put 2 Balings here, you burrow them. Make sure they're not blocking where the command center goes. And put them on like auto attack or auto explode or whatever. What happens if a SCV travels out over here and he places a command center? These Balings will jump up to kill the SCV, and they'll kill the SCV, and since the command center is such low hit points at that point, they'll actually blow up the command center as well. Unless you get really lucky and the SCV stays on this side for a long time. But it's for no micro whatsoever, 2 Balings can do 450 damage and shut down the expansion. Looks like you actually ran in here with his mutas, which wasn't smart because there's a missile turret and a bunker and some marines hanging out there. Finishing off my wall, got the double door entrance, I always love that. Let's see where we're at here. It's 70 drones over 62 hour. SCVs. Considering he had no lings early, I'm actually surprised he's only ahead by that much. But this 69 is kind of a spot where Zerg likes to stop. 69, 72, somewhere in there. Saturate 3 mineral lines and then 8 gas, and that's kind of where you want to be. Really good vision of the map. Let's just look at his vision right here. He sees almost all the map except for the top quarter, and that's because I cleaned it out with 1 Viking. But if I don't 10 sound that Viking, he would see the entire map. Creed spread is looking decent. Still bailing bombs all over the place. Wow, if I were like stubborn and just never decided to scan ahead even after bailing bombs hit me, I would just keep running into more and more and more of them. Of course, that's if I actually built Marines. But Marines are for noobs. So Scout Zergling here, keep an eye on the base. Zergling, unlike a Bailing, cannot do any tricky stuff, so you may as well block the landing zone. Not that it would matter with auto turrets going down and Ravens, but... So setting up the double PF third. Marines on the way. Spent through my gas store, so looks like there's no more auto turrets needed, so I can start going offensive now with these Ravens. And that's the idea, you just want to put down like a spurt of auto turrets, maybe even a little bit less than what I did here, maybe like 6 is good. And then keep the Ravens here. And then if the PFs get up in time and he doesn't attack, then you have lots of energy to go move out. If he does come to attack and try to shut down the expansion, then you can blow all your energy and throw auto turrets everywhere. Got a lot of mutas going around. He actually went +1 on his mutas, so he's probably going to commit pretty heavily to mutas. Mutas cutting behind here, not the best spot. He's kind of trapped between these two turret lines. And bad timing as I was moving out with my Raven, so he's not in position to defend this. So I do catch his 4th. Looks like he's throwing down 4 spines and a spore. So as long as I get these auto turrets down fast enough. Oh, let's see if we can trap him getting away. Yes! Nice. Now the turrets have to go the other direction, which obviously isn't going to work. Moving to hit this base, but he's not actually there. However, there are the Mutalisks. Look at that micro, perfect micro. Let's just back up and watch this again. If you're going to be going against Seeker Missile, this is the way you want to do it with Mutalisks. Notice how he's not flying in a ball. He's got them separated, and he's clicking far away, like far away, so they don't clump together. And he's just attacking by hitting stop, not attack move. So if you're an attacking move, they'd all like attack, say, the front one here, and they'd all cluster up into like a little section like that, just opening them up for a Seeker. But instead, he's moving past and stop, and past and stop, and past and stop. And now I have to actually throw down auto turrets here to defend myself and keep throwing down PDDs to keep my Ravens from dying while I'm trying to set up the auto turret area. So yeah, it's not looking that great for him. You know, he probably lost maybe 1,500 resources more than I did there. But he emptied my Ravens of energy. He put them, a lot of them into the red line, so that's another maybe 500 bucks I got to spend in repairing them. So yeah, maybe he lost $2,000 more, but I lost more gas, I lost all my energy, and I got to repair these things. So it wasn't a complete loss there. Is that an actual... That's not gonna work. Good try though. I like that effort. There's not room on this rectangle for all these overlords, sorry. Looks like more command centers going down, going for my 3rd, getting Neo Steel. Actually, I decided after +1 I want to get +2 and +3 immediately. So when you're upgrading +1, you get the armory. I put a lot of thought in what upgrades I really should get if I'm going to start upgrading stuff, spending gas on that, and I think bio attack upgrades is most important. Complements the stim. I don't really need the defense as I'm usually behind walls and in bunkers and stuff. Looks like I forgot the armory, so I went Neosteel, but I think I'd normally go +2 before that. And even though it gets really expensive in gas, 175 and then 250 for +3, I think it's worth it. Just because it'll help a lot more versus Ultralisks late game. So I got some Marines just kind of poking around, looking for stuff, clearing out Zerglings. But accidentally it looks like they found a base, and just because I had this covered up here and he expanded down here, I'm going to assume that he's already taken this base. Because I don't see why he'd go in my corner if he hadn't already taken the base in between. Of course, I don't know that for sure. Whoops, what I press. I can't say that for sure. One thing I like about auto turrets is once he doesn't know these are done. He might be actually afraid to move up here just because he sees all these auto turrets in Fog of War. Let's clear out a little bit of creep with some Marines. Trying to expand, using the Ravens to expand with. Looks like these command centers are getting picked off though. Ravens coming across. Again, he's being smart with the Mulus, kind of doing that move and stop, staying on top of them. Not so good use. Use my auto turret there. So taking out this base and kind of solidifying it for these command centers is the idea. So he's moving back to take out this PF. So I really should have some SCVs down here setting up missile turrets and starting to mine and stuff, the gas and stuff too. Especially since I'm slightly oversaturated for the 5 mineral patches I have here. Yeah, 29 SCVs is a little too much for 5 mineral patches, and 22 SCVs is definitely too much for 0 mineral patches. So that's not good. Send some Marines down to kind of supplement the auto turrets, where the auto turrets are already dead. Looks like I'm going to get away with 1 command center. That's nice. He kind of fell back. Sending a smattering of Marines around, just always to clear out Scoutlings and hopefully just clear out creep if I actually scan the time. Whoops. Whoops. Oh god. BDDs. So these mutas are at 2 carapace now, which actually makes them pretty good at deflecting auto turret shots. Auto turret shots are only 8 damage per attack. Yeah, he has lost a lot of money there with the Mutalisks, but I've lost a lot of Ravens too. Look at that, I've actually lost more than him. In reality, I probably haven't because he's killed a ton of auto turrets, and auto turrets count as $100 lost because it's stupid. But I'm down to 1 Raven. I'm down to 3 Ravens. I have 2 somewhere, I don't know. 1 lost its rally point. 1 thinks he's an overlord and is hanging out on the high ground here. That guy will probably sit there all game and I won't even know. But I did get a 4th established, which is kind of key. Another thing I like to do, like I have like the 3 barracks wall here, and that's not enough to spend my minerals, so I always throw down a lot more barracks in my base. I'm like, you know, why am I putting there when I always need a wall off later on versus ultras? I'll just put like random barracks in front of my production facilities. It makes it a little tougher for ultras to come in and wreak havoc on these bases. Oh, never mind. That Raven will not see the river and will just die. But there's clumped up mutas hanging around the whole time too. More than enough for secret energy. Just because I wanted to get every barracks, there goes the last one. Like stim on the bunker. Oh. Marines are up to 2-0 now though. Probably be starting 3-0 pretty soon, getting now more command centers. Looks like Zerg is trying to retake the bottom right and the top left. Still hasn't taken this base though, which seems like the natural one to go to next. So let's say I have some command terms on the float, 3 of them. Yeah, okay, I'm going to take the middle. Do I have a raven flock back together yet? Do I? Do I? Ravens, ravens, ravens. Doesn't look like it. Aha! Not bad. 12 ravens, and a lot of energy on them. Looks like they're about 2/3 full on average. Ulysses is sticking around in here. Got an okay Seeker, but again, he's not clumping his units, so a lot of it was just doing the 50 or 25 damage of the wide splash area. Didn't really get it all in that little tiny hex of an area, which is the main splash damage. Actually, if you did see that last A9, he talks about how like Seeker missiles are good because they have a wide area of damage, which is true, and almost all that area of damage is full damage attack, and that's the exact opposite of true. Like if this is the size of the Seeker missile, this is about the size of the full damage. In fact, I looked it up once, and it was like 42 hexes does 25% damage, 15 hexes does 50%, and 5 hexes do 100% damage. So if I like target it on this here, it actually does like a cross, like this and this. Those, it has to be within there to be 100% damage. And since Seeker missiles do 100 damage, that's easily calculated to 150 and 25 damage a piece. I don't care what anyone says, Seekering Broodlords is dumb. Don't do it. Sometimes you have to. But every caster makes it look like Seeker Missile is a counter to Broodlords, and it's not. If you have to launch into the Broodlords, at least you're guaranteed to hit, because Broodlords are slow as crap. But ideally you want to hit like Infestors, you want to hit clumped up Corruptors. Use your Vikings to take down the Broodlords. Just clearing out the Autoturrets there so I can set up a proper barracks wall in front. So it does look like I'm in pretty good shape here. I got 5 bases against his 5 bases. He's got 3 mining bases. I have 3 mining bases. So even bases should be good for me. Just kind of throwing away cluster energy here once we kill barracks and a few marines. Not a big deal. Ultralisks, and I think, is this where he pulls? No, he doesn't. That's an oddly placed spore colony. Neat little trick there. If you built the PDD outside of the range of the spore colony, then it'll still defend your ravens. But had I built it here, as soon as my ravens fly by, the spore would like pick away at the PDD, taking away all its energy, and eventually killing the PDD. If you put it out here, PDD remains active. Can't set my mutas, not for long, but it did remain active. So spawning a base up here looks like he's throwing out a bunch of spore colonies and stuff. Looks like I caught a couple kind of juked him there. I was able to get a Seeker Missile down, caught a couple of Infestors. Throwing out a lot of stuff, so just trying to throw in auto turrets. Let's take that stuff out before it finishes. Every time I stop hearing PDDs working, I throw down another one. And that's a lot of spores. Get the hell out of here. So that was okay. I think I lost a bunch of ravens in that exchange, but this base will go down unless he comes to save with ultras, which he should, but he's not. Same time, I have got my bio up to 3-0, which is nice. I got the Neo Steel bunkers, which is also nice. Once I sell those, Ultralisk. I am building at least a smattering of Marauders from my Tech Lab barracks. This 1 hit point Raven has plenty of hit points, works just as well with 1 hit point as 140, so what's the point in healing it? That's actually probably a dumb way to talk about it, but I'm not the best on healing stuff. Maybe I'll heal it now since I'm kind of near my SCVs. I don't know. But I have got him down to 2 mining bases while I'm still at 3. Here comes a push. He's got some queens, and he'll be adding more later. Looks like he's using Broodlords. I start building Vikings, however I didn't realize I was supply capped, or supply maxed, right? So I'm waiting for my Vikings this whole time, and my Vikings never actually come. But while I wait, I decide to kind of put down some counterattack. Just checking to see if he has the space here. No, but I can see he's kind of long distance mining, so put down auto turrets, just keep an eye on things, maybe kill off a couple drones. Still waiting on those Vikings to arrive. Still can't build any. Is there any? No, I still had Ravens queued up anyways. I was pressing a lot of V, but it doesn't do anything when you don't have the supply available. Or when you're maxed out, it doesn't let you queue things up. So we'll take down a base here, and gonna move into his base. Same time, trying to get the SCV set up to auto repair and stuff. These guys are in hold position, so I need to move them. Didn't realize I was flying over a whole ton of spore colonies. Not flying over actually, flying on top of, we'll say. Not pretty. Did get the SCVs finally set up correctly to repair the things I wanted to repair. Finally saved a smattering of Ravens. Just put in the back where there's no spore colony coverage and throw down as many auto turrets as I could. That would have at least freed up supply for Vikings. Maybe the Viking production is finally starting. We got this. Yeah, Vikings in play. Good. Sending out a couple command centers to take the bottom position. Still waiting on those Vikings. I have these Ravens here, but for the Vikings to beat the Corruptors, I need the PDDs from the Ravens. Another thing you'll notice from Queens is Queens soak up PDDs pretty quickly. So sometimes, like when I run into, say, a couple spore colonies, I'll throw down a PDD, run into the spores, throw down a bunch of auto turrets and run out. But if there's Queens firing, especially if it's got like those 5 or 6 Queens, that PDD like instantly runs out of energy. So the spores have a field day on my Vikings. This could be another example of this. PDDs are down, and now attacking on my 5 Vikes. So he's running it with his Ultralisk. Raptors are done, but he still has a lot of Queens, man. So here's the advantage of the Queens. See the transfuse that's going off on his Broodlords. Now, this is a problem in that he's doing lots of transfusing and keeping them alive, but it's still always going to be a bunch of Vikings versus no anti-air. So he's just delaying the inevitable, which isn't the best use of Queen energy. And he says GG. Because he thinks he's dead, or because he thinks I'm dead? I'm not quite sure. It means he's cutting through my base. Broodlords are down. There's a lot of Queens left over. Still hitting those transfuses. Oh wait, am I gonna get this Ultralisk? 60, 50, 40... Oh, 47. He's asking how much I'm banking. Because if it's low, he may have a chance, so he'll stay. Or because if it's high, I might still take the game. I'm still not quite sure if he meant that we have to GG that I should quit. Anyways, these Ravens are still hanging out here. Throw down some more out turrets eventually. I did have a whole bunch of orbitals, so long distance mining with mules. Right now they're just buying me time, these orbitals. Forgot to turn these into PFs, which is too bad because this has been here for a while. I actually could have taken these gas and had these PFs and Yeah, a little late now, unfortunately. Oh! What was that? Failing? So where is my Raven Force? Once upon a time I had a Raven Force. Aha! There it is. Looks like about 9 Ravens. Still got a bunch of Vikes. Repairing all this stuff. He is hitting the space though. So I got my +3 upgraded Marines and stuff, which is nice, but again, that's Queens, man. Just look. Oh, he hasn't done it yet. There goes transfuse, 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 transfuse. The Ultras just isn't dying. So the whole second half of that attack, I killed him. Yeah, the Saturn energy is probably not necessary since all there's left is one bunker. Unloaded all my secret missile energy, killed nothing, he transfused everything. I throw in an auto turret to finish up with left, I just lose some Ravens. Everything's fixed anyways. I focus fire one Queen, still can't kill it. Transfuse is pretty awesome. So there I just blew all my secret energy, that's not good. He's counting out my last space now. Looks like he's retaken another base of his own. I'm kind of sending out a couple commands from my own, just more or less to scout with. Check out the income tab. We both have 0 gas income, so I cannot actually repair my PF. There are a bunch of mules to repair with. I think I might as well use those for something. Vikings on the high ground. Just run out of transfuse. He's down to 2 Ultralisks. Go with +3 Marauder. GG's and leaves the game. This wasn't looking too good there. I did get the more auto turrets down here, so it looks like I've gotten his Ultra Cavern. Probably his Hive as well. And depending what I decide to do with these Ravens, I'm guessing I would have thrown in a whole bunch more auto turrets, say right here. Go for the Infestation Pit and the Greater Spire. I do know of this base here, but I have no way to attack it. He's got 3,000 minerals, so he could make a ton of lings. Larva, 15 larva. So you can make 30 lings. Looks like my natural was going to hold. That's his last Ultralisk and it's dying, and I still have some stuff on the high ground here. Even a couple Marauders left over. Space is more or less dried out, but heavily defended. So the thing with the Masked Queens is too, is it's not even necessary for Zerg to build extra queens for the purpose of using them in an army. Like what he can do is like as he's adding more hatcheries and expanding, he's getting up to like 5, 6 bases. That means he has 6 queens there. And then once he hits tier 3, how much larva injecting do you really need for tier 3? Unless you're making a ton of Zerglings still for some reason. Because if you're spending like most of your money on say like Corruptors, Broodlords, Infestors, those are like expensive units that only require like a small amount of larva. So at that point in the game, you may not even need the larva inject, so you can actually pull all your queens that you're using for injecting into your hatcheries, and boom, and there you got like 7 queens available for your army. So I think that's the way the metagame is going to go now. More queens early game, just as a standard defense, since they work better versus Hellions now, can't be kited and whatnot. That means earlier creep spread and more aggressive creep spread. So it's going to start faster and it's going to spread more directions, more tumors, since you have the extra queens for it. And that probably means he's going to be able to walk up to your bases with queens over creep. So queens will probably be involved in a lot of late game compositions, and it's 6 strong. Like I think that's some Inishiwa Masked Queen. Like, let's even look at this one here. Right before he hit that outside base right there. I think that was about it. Move back a touch. It's army tab right now. That's a $16,000 army. And we know how expensive ravens are, right? And my army is only 8,000. $16,000 army. 10 supply left over. And that's even with some Zerglings and Balings involved. So yeah, that's pretty awesome. And let's say he had the corruptor count to continue attacking. That'll be difficult, right? Because if he used these infestors, which I don't think he did, for fungal growth, maybe some infested Terrans. If my Vikings clump up, corruptors are fighting back. Brewlords are never dying because of transfuse. Even the corruptors can get transfused. The queens can get in on the action with their anti-air attack, which is very strong actually. Their ground to ground attack, or their ground attack is you know, it's increased range now, but still not that great, especially versus things with higher armor. But their attack versus air, they actually do more damage than a Hydralisk, which is pretty sick. And one thing I've noticed is they definitely drain my PDDs. So if I'm trying to beat corruptors with like Vikings and PDDs, these queens, if they get in on the action, they can not only like attack the Vikings, but even when they're not as like successfully attacking, they're draining the PDDs out. So I found that interesting. But luckily my game is developing as well. I think I like this. I put a lot of thought into the upgrades since people keep bugging me about it, and I keep saying to myself, yeah, I should kind of do something with upgrades. It's probably worth it, especially if the game goes really late, which it seems to now. You know, this is very rarely is this like a 2-base Raven push and I win the game, like it used to be way back when. Now it's always like just getting lots and lots of bases with planetary fortresses and stuff. So yeah, obviously the 2 structure upgrades are the most important because you need those for the Ravens. And then +1, and as you gain +1, get the armory, then you can go straight into +2 and +3. I don't really get anything from the armory. If I did, I'd actually probably get ship attack, not ship defense, even though it doesn't help Ravens, just because I don't think the defense helps Ravens very much at all. Maybe a little bit, but probably only versus like infested Terrans, Vita bounce. Like it has no effect versus fungal, and has very, very little effect versus the high splash damage, which is, or sorry, the high burst damage, which is most of the Zerg anti-air. That being Hydralisks, Spore Colonies, Corruptors. I don't know. I think that's the main ones. Queens. But yeah, the ship attacks would actually help my Vikings when they have to kill Brewlords, and it would actually help my Banshees when they have to kill Ultralisks. But I don't think I'll be doing much Banshees versus Ultras anymore. Maybe I will if I know the Ultras are coming, but I think I'll kind of want to rely more on like heavy bio upgrades and just get this like kind of walled off bunkers with PFs and highly upgraded Marines and hope that's good enough. It's pulling some minerals here, so no sundials, but I did get a lot of orbitals. I figure there's some uses I can get for mules. And one thing I can definitely do with mules, since they're just kind of disposable, is I can just always keep like mules auto repairing my ravens. Wherever my ravens are, just call down some mules on auto repair. Anyways, with that, check the description for a thumbs up link. Thank you everyone, and goodbye.